Saturn, major decrease in equilateral jet stream velocities past 20 years, accompanied by surprising surge of X-rays from the equator. Uranus, one of the scientists said really big changes in brightness, again, very similar to Venus, increased global cloud activity and storms, 40% increase in atmospheric brightness on Neptune, and 300% increase in atmospheric pressure even as Pluto recedes further from the sun, and they're calling this global warming as well on Pluto. This is not the only planet. I don't think it's CO2, because if it was man-made CO2, then how would it be happening on the other planets? I don't think that there's SUVs being driven around on them. Also, there was some other energy belt that was discovered in 1992 around the Earth. These are the Van Allen belts, the green and the blue, and they are the radiation belts that are created by the magnetic fields of the Earth. They actually protect the Earth from the sun, solar, wind. But in 1992, the Sampex probe explorer, it picked up another band here, shown in like the orange color, of what they call interstellar matter. And that had not been seen before. That's something new. I believe it's coming in with the new energy that's coming into this planet and this solar system. I just wanted to show you a few interesting pictures. This doesn't really have much to do with what I'm talking about, but I just find it really interesting. Back in 2006, Hubble took some of these pictures here. This here looks like a strand of DNA. It looks like a double helix. I know it's slightly hard to see, but it's out there. It looks like a DNA. And the quote from this scientist here is, "Nobody has ever seen anything like this before in the cosmic realm. Most nebula are either spiral galaxies, four stars, or formless conglomerations of dust and gas, or what have you." This thing's about 300 light years from the galaxy center and about 80 light years long, from what they're saying. Again, I'm just showing you things that I just find interesting. This is another Hubble telescope picture of something called the Cat's Eye Nebula. And it looks to me, you know how they talk about as above, so below? This looks to me, and again, everybody can read into it, like a single cell organism. And I just think that it's a very interesting picture. And I just want to show you one more here. This is called the Hourglass Nebula. This is a fairly famous one from Hubble telescope too. And I'm just wanted you to see the whole thing, but I want to zoom in on the center here. And I just want you to see this, because it looks like an eye, but it doesn't just kind of look like an eye. And one of the things that hits me, and if anybody here is into art, they can probably see this too. If you're drawing something and you want to make it look really realistic, such as an eye, if you put a little highlight in there, it will make it look three-dimensional, and it will make it look very realistic. There's an actual highlight here. This is what I feel is so amazing about this picture, is that this is a picture of something that I can't even imagine how big it is. You know, our solar system is probably a little dot in the center. It's just enormous, and it just happens to look like an eye, and it just happens to look really like an eye. So anyway, moving on to this, what I wanted to make mention of when I'm talking about different energies coming in and changing consciousness or changing the physical reality that's going on here, these two guys, Richard Muller and Robert Rode, they were doing extensive research with fossils, marine fossils, and they did a very exhaustive, extensive analysis of the fossil record over the last 542 million years. And what they found was a mysterious cycle of 62 million years, where all of a sudden creatures would become extinct. for no apparent reason. And then, you know, life would come back again, and in 62 million years, down again, all these creatures would become extinct, would go out, and all of a sudden new life would come in. And they were saying that they went through this several times and saying maybe there's some kind of glitch in the information. You know, maybe we're not seeing something right, but that's the way it is, and that's what they were finding out. And Richard Miller was saying what we're seeing is a real and very strong signal that the history of life on our planet has been shaped by a 62 million year cycle with nothing in present evolutionary theory accounts for it. They are saying that when the dinosaurs disappeared, that coincided with an asteroid hit. So what I'm saying to you tonight is there are possibilities that other things could happen that create extinction, but to create extinction on a very patterned, rhythmic time period sounds a little bit outrageous that something like that would happen every 62 million years. And so what we're seeing here, and this is their data compiled in a graph, and this was published in the journal Nature back in 2005. And the peaks here are the peak of biodiversity when there are the most species, and what you see in the valleys here, every 62 million years or so, are extinctions. What I just want to point out right now, because this is going back 542 million years, this is us present day, we're at 62 million years. Actually, we're about a few million years overdue. But they were finding it was about 62 to 65 million years. So are we getting ready for something? I'm not sure, but if you go and look at it historically, the pattern has been there. They based their information on some older information by Jack Sapkowski, David Rauch. They're the ones who compiled a lot of this fossil information. They have found a 26 million year cycle on the fossil record of extinctions. The little dinosaur here is showing you the extinction of the dinosaurs at that time. It pretty much is in conjunction with the peaks. There's a couple of times when you don't really see too much of it. Doesn't seem to marry up to the 62 million year their studies. But what's interesting again is that it's coming in in a pattern, and what can account for that pattern? So, what I would like to mention about that 26 million years too, if you look at the galaxy on the side, this way, and you look at the equator of the galaxy, and you look at our solar system actually bobs up and below that equator line. And so what's happening now is we're bobbing up above that equator line. And we're right in the middle of a 26 million year time period, and at the end of a 62 million year. But it takes 26 million years for us to make one of these bobs. So it's just interesting. It coincides with their evidence, and it's just an interesting thing to think about. It takes us about 240 to 300 million years to circle the galaxy once. And 62 million years is about a quarter of that time. I don't know if there's something that marries up with that or what the reason is, but there seems to be a certain energy that we go through every 62 million years that causes a change on the Earth.